Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're joining us for Cybersecurity Hub's Threat Detection and Response. It's great to have you here. Thank you very much indeed. My name is Georgina Vilcek, and I'm the director of this session. It will be my great pleasure to introduce you to our next speaker very shortly. But just in case you haven't joined us here in On24 for a little while, I just wanted to take the opportunity to let you know that all of the various elements that you can see on the screen in front of you are customizable. So depending on whether you're on a smaller unit or a larger machine today, please feel free to expand all the windows out and have everything set up as you would like. Obviously, the slides that Jacob's going to be sharing with us very shortly will be in the center of your screen, but also we're down here on the left hand side. You'll be able to expand us across the screen as well, which may come in handy later on when Jacob starts to share some bits and pieces that are actually on his computer with us. It's going to be a great session. If you've never seen around the dark web, now is your chance. So it's my pleasure now to hand across to Jacob, who will be able to tell you a little bit more about the setting for this particular presentation. Jacob Silutin is the sales engineer for Cyberint and a real expert in this field. So Jacob, over to you. We're looking forward to a great session. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Jacob Silutin. I'm a sales engineer with Cyberint. I've been working in the threat intelligence space for more than 10 years. I've worked with other cyber threat intelligence companies as well as the Israeli government. And today I'm going to talk about the dark web. We're going to get a sneak peek into the dark web. Today's session is going to be about how the dark web is constructed, what cultures and ways to act in the dark web look like, how people do business in the dark web, what companies like ours, like Cyberint, do in order to mitigate some of the risks that are involved with what's happening in the dark web. We'll see how we run cyber human operations, so human intelligence operations. We'll do a little bit of an exercise on that. And then we'll take a peek into the dark web. We'll see some real examples. We'll see some real forums. We'll see some real things for sale. So I hope you enjoy the session. Let's get started. So before we get started, I would like to ask a quick question and maybe start a little bit of a poll in the platform. Have any of you ever been to the dark web, seen the dark web, visited a forum on the dark web, seen how it looks like in real life? We have a poll up and running. We'll just do that quickly to see if to see the results, and then I'll share some interesting facts on how IT security professionals see the dark web, if they have any visibility into it, and if they actually visited it previously. So the poll is on the screen. If we can take a few seconds to answer that, just to see the situation here in the audience today. So let's give it a few more seconds. So there's some interesting facts on the visibility into the dark web from IT professionals and IT security professionals especially. It's a buzzword that a lot of people use all the time, but not a lot of people have a great understanding of what it is and how it looks like and how to get there. So hopefully today's session will make it a little bit clearer, but for now I just want to see, using the poll, how many of you out there in the audience have actually visited dark web. So Georgina, just let me know once we have results.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go to the results if you're happy.
All right, yeah, let's do it. So before we review the results, just a quick fact: less than 5% of IT security professionals visit or visited or have any visibility into dark web. So only 5% of people who deal with security have been in the dark web or visited or seen it. So let's see if it kind of applies here as well. All right, so we have 26% who have been to the dark web and seen the dark web, and 73% who have not been. So we're a little bit over the average, I guess. Well, and it's a good thing. It shows that more and more people are accessing and have visibility into the dark web. And as I mentioned, only globally, only 5% of the IT security people have been there. So we're good here with our audience, and hopefully after today, you'll have more visibility and more understanding. So let's get started. I'll start with my first slide that everybody's probably familiar with, the iceberg slide. So over the top, what's visible to the average user of the internet is the clear web. So these are the everything you can access using your browser: Google.com, Amazon.com, CNN.com, BBC.com, all those websites that you just go and click the name and just go and read the news or buy something, and so on. The next layer is the deep web. The deep web it's actually most of the internet that we know. The deep web is all the different email servers, cloud storage, forum pages, web pages that are not indexed by Google, pages like not .com but .pw or .cm, pages, all the instant messaging applications that we use, for example, WhatsApp or Telegram. All this information is stored somewhere. It's all stored in the deep web. It's not accessible. It's not indexed. And already in the deep web, we already see some shady business going. People go to credit card shops, and people start stolen information businesses on the deep web. It doesn't have to be specifically the dark web. And finally, we have the dark web. The dark web is a subset of the deep web. And the dark web is a portion of the deep web, which you have to access via very specific tools, and not just your conventional Chrome or Edge or Firefox browser. You need to use these tools in order to gain some anonymity, right? So not only do you use these specific tools that we'll talk about in a second, but the hosts of these websites and the hosts of these places you go to, they also use something called bulletproof servers or bulletproof hosts. These are servers that the people who host the sites maintain themselves, so they won't have to deal with GoDaddy or Namecheap or any hosting provider, that is a legal hosting provider. They just spin up their own servers and host their own content on their own servers. So that's one of the tools that the threat actors use in order to stay anonymous. Anonymity is the #1 key in the dark web. There are a few ways that threat actors keep it anonymous. One of the main tools that they use is the TOR browser. So for those of you who don't know the TOR browser is a browser just like Chrome or Edge, but it's a little bit different in the way that it is constructed in the back end. So that the TOR browser or the Onion browser was originally created by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory as an anonymous communications tool for intelligence agencies. So it's a governmental tool, but it's since then become a good tool for criminals, privacy researchers, academics, law enforcement. Everybody's using it, but it was invented by the U.S. Navy. The network itself, the TOR network, is maintained by the TOR project. It's a non-profit organization, and a lot of fundings come from various corporations and foundations and individuals. Most of the funding for this TOR browser is from the US government. The problem with that is that it's mostly being used to access dark corners of the internet, and it's not completely, let's say, innocent, as probably the US Navy intended it to be. So how does it work? How does it keep us anonymous? You can see here in the picture I'm displaying, there's a network of random routers, and every user that uses Tor connects to one of these routers, and all these routers, or some people call it rallies, which are basically volunteer systems. People volunteer their machines or volunteer their servers to be rallies. All of these rallies act like a randomizer. So you connect to Tor, and via almost 7,000 of these volunteer rallies, you connect to your destination. So you start from point A, and then you can go through 7,000 different endpoints or servers in order to get to your destination, and this is how they anonymize the connection. Also, let me just click here. Yeah, the sites on the Tor browser, they end with .onion, and the URLs themselves are very, very, as you can see, randomized and don't make a lot of sense, and they are not indexed in any way. Another step in order to keep the anonymity. It's not easy to remember 3G2 up L4 and so on. It's, of course, a lot easier to remember CNN.com. And also, if you just grab this link here, copy it into your Chrome, it will not go anywhere. Nothing is going to happen. You need a special browser, which is a Tor browser, in order to get to this particular link. Okay, so now I downloaded Tor. I clicked on the little icon, on the little onion, and now I can go to the dark web and start being a threat actor. Of course not. The dark web has its own rules and its own culture and its own languages. So as you probably know, a lot of the dark web activity is actually done in the Russian language. It is one of the most common languages on the dark web. So we have Russian, we have Persian, Turkish, English, Chinese. China is very, very big when it comes to dark web presence. We, of course, also have each of these languages, and each of these countries has its own culture. I have an example here for a dark web dictionary that I helped put together a while ago. The interesting thing is that if you truly want to be part of a dark web community or a dark web forum, you really need to understand how the threat actors talk and how they communicate. And if you use regular language and even regular street language, you will be branded as a fake or as a phony really quickly, and people will not want to talk to you, or even in some cases ban you from forums, and in even worse cases might try to do something to your computer or steal your account or do some damage in the real life, so that as an act of revenge. And over here we can see some slang terms for different definitions. For example, if we have money here, so money in Russian is деньги, but the slang word for it is bабlo or babki. So this is what they use if you want to refer to money. You have to use this word so that to not raise suspicion. All right, so now we know the culture. Now we know how to get there. We use Tor. We know the culture. We're very cultured in the dark web ways. All we need to know now is how to hack people and how to code and how to program, right? Well, you don't even need to be a hacker in order to go on the dark web. Here's an example of a dark web page, dark web interface of a forum, or I'm sorry, not a forum, of a black market, which sells credit cards. So you don't really need to know any code. You don't really need to be a hacker. You can just go here, use a very, very user-friendly page, use the filters. As you can see here, the example, Germany, name of the bank, card type, and just click search or apply filters, and you'll get all the results you want. You click on the right side, there's a little shopping cart. You click on the shopping cart, add them to your cart, and then check out, just like any e-commerce website, just like Amazon, just like any other convenient e-store that you go to. So you don't really need to be a threat actor or a bad guy or a guy with a hoodie, just like mine, to go there and buy things or do some damage. Here's another example for a botnet market. The botnets are being installed on various machines, and they harvest credentials. So you can just purchase someone's all of someone's credential log in a very, very simple interface, just like you can see here. Very, very simple and straightforward. All right. So how do we pay? How do we do transactions in the dark web? So Bitcoin, as it is a great tool for keeping your money, it's also a great tool to stay anonymous. And as we saw before, anonymity is one of the motives for dark web activity. So as such, threat actors and people that go on these different forums and black markets prefer to use cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin being the main currency that they use and the main currency that they convert to. So everything is related to Bitcoin. All the prices will appear in dollars or in Great Britain pounds or whatever the threat actor is from, but it will always mention also the amount of Bitcoin the product or that the person is selling is worth as well. And all the transaction will be done in Bitcoin. And of course, you wonder, all of these people are bad guys. All of them are doing something wrong. Why would I want to pay them if I don't trust them? And if I do pay them, and if I do want to buy something, what guarantees that I have that I'll receive my product, right? So everybody's bad. So I only assume that if I pay someone and he's probably, trying just to get away with the money and not really sell me anything. So even for that, the dark web community have some services in place. Just like in the real world, they have escrow accounts and even a dark web court. So when things go sideways in deals, they actually can claim into the dark web court. And usually they also use escrow accounts in order to make transactions. So let's take a look at an example here for a dark web court claim that was claimed for a forum admin following a deal that didn't go through. So every forum, every community has an admin, a person who manages the community, a person that everybody in the community values, and he's the controller of everything that's happening in this community. And this person can vouch for people or kick people out of the forum or ban people. And as I mentioned, it can also do some real damage to some folks. In this case, there was a claim. Somebody wanted to give somebody a script, and the buyer supplied the payment, but the script never made it. Of course, everything is here written just like any court. It's very interesting to see that they are trying to be decent even though they participate in illegal activities. Another example is the escrow validation and updates. As I mentioned, the admin is the most powerful person in the forum. And in some cases, he updates on the situation is under control. In some other cases, he kicks people out or bans them temporarily, and then once the issue is resolved, he unbans them, so the ban is removed, as you can see here. You can also see that there's a rating system, so folks usually provide a complaint and give the moderator or the admin the info, and then the admin gives an update that payment is done or not done. In some cases, they also use the admin as the escrow account. So if I want to buy something from person A, I would transfer my money to the admin, to the escrow account. The admin will then update person A, hey, Jacob, forward me the money. I have all the money here. Person A will give me my product, whatever I purchased, and then the moderator or the escrow account will send person A the money. So everything is very well structured. Everything is very well organized. And of course, I forgot to mention the admin or escrow account, they of course make some fees and make the money out of that. It's not a free service. It's usually 3 to 5%. And the administrator this is how one of his lines of business is to be an escrow account or a moderator for deals. All right, so now we'll go into what companies like ours do versus the hackers or do in order to get some visibility into the dark web. I'll start with a quick presentation on our company. Cyberint is a cyber intelligence company, and it allows organizations to have some visibility into the dark web, collecting intelligence and create actionable items from that intelligence for companies to reduce their risks from an external point of view. So on the right side, we have an organization. Of course, it has its credentials, its information, its sensitive data within that organization, but it also has some external assets such as social media, employees, development environments, marketing sites, and so on. On the other hand, we have the dark web, threat actors. They always talk to each other, just as we saw. They always have different forums. They sell different things to each other, and they think about ways to get more information that's more valuable and to make more money. As we can see in this animation here, they always try to access different organizations externally and to get access into the internal environment. So what we do is we sit in the middle. We have a few different ways that we can show visibility to our customers. One of the ways is the attack surface monitoring here, where we discover all these external digital footprints and all these external assets and give visibility to the organizations on what's exposed to the threat actors. And on the other hand, we sit in the forums, we sit in the black markets, we collect information from the dark web, and we monitor all these activities. So then it's easier for us to make a connection and do the 1 + 1 and see that there's a more interesting thing going on. Somebody's talking about an external asset and is looking for ways to get in. So just a quick word on Cyberint, and then we'll continue and see some more examples of what things we find for our customers. So one of the things we found is, for example, a hospital hacked admin access. This was a while ago, I think a few years ago. We found somebody selling a hospital admin access. And as you can see, it's done in a very eBay-like manner. So we have the start price of 1 Bitcoin. We have steps, so we can bid on it at an increment of 0.1 Bitcoins. And if you want to buy it now, just like eBay, you can pay just 2 Bitcoins and it's yours. There's another example for 0 days. As you know, 0 days is a vulnerability that has no patch to it yet. So there's some folks that sell those 0 days, and they are very, very pricey, as you can see here. There's specialized forums, there's specialized brokers for 0 days. These folks make a lot of money out of these 0 days. So that's another example of some findings we found. Now I want to kind of bring you into the world of human intelligence operations and show you how we work and how we create those virtual human operations. So intelligence is the same, or gathering intelligence or gathering information is the same, regardless of where it happens, if it happens in the real world or if it happens in the virtual world. The steps are the same. You begin with connecting to the to your target, to the person you want to collect information from. You engage with a question or any other way that you want to engage. You collect information. Of course, the other side, or the person of interest, or the people of interest need to have something to gain from it. So you, of course, lure them with something to gain, either money, prestige, anything that can really help them. And then you close the dialogue. You move forward to your next target. In the intelligence community, there's a very simple way of collection. There's a very simple concept. We use the 5 W's and how. Any piece of information that goes through an intelligence analyst, the analyst asks himself these 6 questions. Who is the person or the people behind this piece of intelligence? What are they doing? What are they selling? What are they buying? When are they going to do it, or when did they do it in the past? Where this information comes from, where this information is going to take place? Why are the people engaging in this information? And how did they get it in the first place? So these are the 5 questions, the 5 W's and how, 6 questions. I'm going to show you a quick example, and maybe you can do this exercise and ask yourselves these questions following the information that I'm going to present. So over here we can see a real example for a thread on a forum of a threat actor that is selling something on the forum. So we can see here at the top, we'll just quickly go through this, and you can already start thinking about those questions: what, why, when, where, and how. So we have here at the top SCADA system of electrical generation for sale. We can see a clear intention for non-legit action. Somebody is planning to sell it. Over here, we can see the asset of the company is mentioned here, Pemex, Mexico. That's the company that's targeted. We can see some more information, mismanagement of SCADA system for the operator may be involved. And of course, contact information of the threat actor. And following this example, we also approach the threat actor and talk to the threat actor to get some more information. So we can see here that we approached him via a chat in the forum. The name of the team is Kelvin team. We are trying to get the diesel SCADA software, and then he's providing us more information. The SCADA system is for sale with 3 systems and 2 databases obtained from Pemex Oil Company. That's the company that's been hacked. Some more questions. We ask for the pricing. SCADA for $50 everything. We also ask for more questions, and then we see how it was obtained. It was obtained by Pemex. We hacked the supplier of an industrial monitoring system. So using the initial post on the forum and some threat actor engagement, we answered all the different questions that we saw on collecting intelligence. So who the people are, it's the Kelvin Sec team. What are they selling? They're selling 3 SCADA systems, login info into databases. When it is from, it's 2019. Where? On the cybercrime forum. Why are they doing this? To gain money. And how did they get the information? They attack the supply chain and manage to get the access to the information. All of this could be gathered into an intelligence report and presented to a company. And following this report, the company can take actions and see where the loopholes are, if there are any loopholes or any backdoors or any vulnerabilities. In this case, they will probably go to their supply chain and start doing some audits and compliance actions. So now that we saw some examples on how to collect information, I would like to take you on a quick tour, on a quick safari, if you will, of some findings from the dark web. And after this quick tour and after these next few slides, I will switch to my other machine and I'll show you some real examples, very simple examples, not something too elaborate, on some cybercrime stores, some black markets, and we'll end there with questions. So let's start our safari here. So over here we see just a quick example of 441 hacked databases. Now, not in all cases threat actors want to make money. Sometimes they just want to make noise and want to make a show. So in this case, everything here is completely downloadable. You don't need to pay anything. You just need to be a member of the forum or know how to get to this location, and you can just click download, 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 and just download all of these different databases from all these different years. Personal information for sale. It's very simple, as we showed before. These products list the first name, last name, state, zip code, address, date of birth, social security number, phone number, city, and email address, all for the low price of $8. You can see some hints. So if you're looking for a particular birth year or a particular place, you can see the hints here. But of course, the full information will be disclosed once you purchase. Chase Bank is a bank here in the United States. If you want username and passwords, also very easy to purchase. These are a little bit more expensive because they probably have some money on the account. These are $350 to purchase. Another example is tools. So a lot of threat actors also sell tools for hackers. It could be Instagram hacking tool. It could be all-in-one hacking tools for hackers, unlimited Gmail account creator. So all of these, of course, it could be either a service or a tool. They're also priced and could be bought from a menu. This is a threat actor group that I followed a few years back. They're called Colombian Stopper. It means a Colombian wine opener or corkscrew, Colombian corkscrew. Among what they do is they sell Wi-Fi interceptors, like you can see here on the left side. They also sell documents. So this is a full documentation of a Russian ID. There's a date of birth, where Mr. Razgen is where the person was born. All the information about this individual is for sale. We also see that they sell fake documents. These are, if I'm not mistaken, Hungarian maybe, or some other IDs. And you can see that they also include they always have to include the corkscrew as a proof that they provided it. And you can see that these are very, very high level IDs. They also have the watermarks. And if you shine the infrared light on them, you'll see the watermarks. So very quality IDs. All right, with that being said, I'll jump over to my other machine. It went to sleep on me, so let me just wake it up real quick. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can post them in the Q&A box. I'll be happy to answer.
Right. While Jacob's busy with that, just to emphasize that you will be able to watch the session back following this presentation. So anybody who wants to have another look at the slides, you'll be able to come back in using the same link that you've used now. It will turn into an on-demand link once we've closed.
All right, I'm trying to share my screen right now. Share. All right, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, so just a quick disclaimer. Of course, it is not recommended to go or try to access any of those examples that I'm about to show from your own personal device. If you're curious, if you want to try, I always recommend having a red computer or a computer that does not connect to your work network. I recommend using VPNs. I recommend using virtual machines. I do not recommend just downloading the TOR browser to your personal device and trying to access these places that I'm going to show. So as you can see, I'm also using TOR browser. It's right here. This little onion icon means that this is the TOR browser. And over here, I'm showing you an example for a drugstore, but it's not a drugstore for prescription drugs or anything like that. It's a drugstore for drugs, for heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, speed, cannabis, and they also do some Bitcoins and services. If we scroll down, it's very easy to order. You can just click the quantity of how many half grams of heroin you want and click buy now. Another example is a website that offers hacking services. So let me zoom in a little bit so everybody can see. Some hacking services, remote control of the phone of someone else, most new models supported, Facebook and Twitter account hacking, DDoS services, other services, final process to be discussed. And all the things are priced here. And as you remember, everything is priced at the US dollar amount and the Bitcoin amount for easy conversion. Some credit card shops. So again, I will zoom in. Selling credit cards, you will receive the following card format: the credit card number, the expiry, the CVV, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code, email, phone number, balance, and available credit. So everything you need in order to make a transaction, everything you need in order to use the credit card, and they're selling them for the price of $350 for 50 cards. Each card has between $1,000 and $5,000 on it. This is an example for more accounts for sale: PayPal accounts, eBay accounts, Bank of America accounts. Some more drugs. This one is dedicated to cannabis or weed. It's in the UK. If you want to become a US citizen, for example, all you need is $1,500 times 4. So this is the first payment for a US citizenship, and you make 4 payments. The prices are a little bit off here. It says $4,000 here, but the first payment is 15. So they need to do their math a little bit, but if you want a US citizenship, very, very easy to get. And you can also pay for that US citizenship using counterfeit US dollars. I'm just kidding. You can buy counterfeit US dollars. Of course, it's a good deal. You get 25 bills of $50 for $325. If you want to do the math, that's a good deal. And lastly, I just wanted to show you that the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, also has a TOR page. So they're watching us, and they're also present here. They try to show that they're present. Probably try to maybe recruit some people to work for them. With that being said, that concludes my presentation. I think that we covered most of the things I wanted to cover. Now will be a good time for questions. So before we jump into that, I just want to say thank you very much for listening, and let's start with some questions.
Thank you very much, Jacob. That was fascinating. At least to the novice, it was great to have a tour of the dark web. And of course, we did do that poll at the beginning, and a large number of people within the audience hadn't actually had a look around. So I hope that it's interested you as much as it has interested me, certainly. You know, it's an extraordinary world. There have been some questions already come through, and I would say if you would still like to ask something to Jacob, it's also not too late. We'll carry on chatting for the next 5 minutes or so about the questions that I can see here now. But if you've got any further ideas, do pop them in, and we'll try to squeeze as many ideas in as we can before we sign off. The first question, just to ask you, Jacob, from somebody here is, someone's asking, how did my information end up on the dark web if I've never actually visited it? Which is you know, a very sensible thing to ask. Is there one straightforward answer to that?
Yes, the straightforward answer is that your information has probably been stolen from somewhere, whether it's a database of a third party that you're using, or even from your bank or from your mortgage papers. Your information has been stolen and it has been uploaded there to be sold. So you don't have to be present there. You don't have to be there with your browser. You don't have to be there with your computer. You can live your life as a non-dark web person, but again, your information is, if it's not safe, it might as well be there and end up there because it was stolen. Yeah.
Gosh. Awful. Also, can I just ask you, can you unshare, and then I think the audience will actually be able to see you again.
But now I hit the share the button and I can't find it. So let me try.
No problem. While you're thinking about that, so we now know most people's information is presumably in there. There's not very much that we can do about it if it is in there. The next question then that somebody else is asking is, how can I take my information out of the dark web? Is that even possible?
You really can't, unfortunately. There's once it's out there, it's there. You can buy it. Our company, for example, Cyberint, offers a service where we can buy the dark web information. You can validate the dark web information, for example, an account, a password, a social security number, or anything. You can validate if it's actually yours or not, and then mitigated by doing a credit freeze or resetting your password or so on, but you cannot take it down from there. Again, we're dealing with criminals, we're dealing with bad people, and they are not nice. They won't just take something down because we politely ask them to.
That's a very good point. It's a slightly different code of ethics, isn't it, really? How can an organization get visibility into the dark web?
So threat intelligence is one of the key phrases here. Threat intelligence is what you do in order to get to all these dark corners of the internet. Companies like ours, Cyberint, we offer this as a service. We have a robust platform where companies can either use the platform on their own and do some searching, search our vast database, or use our services and have our analysts go there and search for findings that match the organization's external digital footprint, just like I showed in the slide.
Okay, fantastic. Somebody else is asking, do you think that companies should have a dedicated team for monitoring dark web operations?
So that's a great question. I think that mature organizations, bigger organizations that have vast security teams should have a dedicated threat intelligence team that monitors the dark web. They'll create alerts for the Security Operations Center based on intelligence that they find in the different places. For smaller companies, this is where you have companies like ours. We offer a full managed service, and you can use one of our analysts as an extension of your team, and we'll do the threat intelligence hunting for you. We'll find the things on the dark web that are related to your organization and help you mitigate and tell you what you need to do in order to mitigate the risk.
Very useful indeed. And then somebody else is asking, in steps, what would you recommend that companies should do to proactively minimize exposure from being a product source of data to sell on the dark web? Can you hide?
That's a very good question with a very let's say, complex answer. Companies really need to think about it in a strategy point of view. Where does security come in play when talking about running the company? If security is something that kind of runs alongside the company and not leads the company, or let's say the chief information security officer reports to the chief technology officer, and only then he reports to the CEO, that's a long chain, and that means that the security is not well implemented. If the CISO reports directly to the CEO and is part of the strategy of the company, then from there, from the strategy point of view, you can go down and do tactical things that really are those steps in minimizing the exposure. There's, ways to, password management or network segmentation. There's so many things you can do, but in my opinion, the most important step is think security, and then you'll minimize it just as a consequence of that strategic thinking.
That's extremely good advice. Thank you very much indeed. It's been a whistle-stop tour through the dark web, and going back to your first slide that you showed with that iceberg, it really is the tip of the proverbial iceberg. But
Exactly.
Thank you very much for enlightening us on everything that the dark web is all about, and I'm sure that people will want to connect with you and ask you further questions about it following this. So of course you can go back to the beginning of the presentation and watch everything through if there's anything on a slide that you've missed or you want to have more look at, so please do take advantage of that. But please do reach out to Jacob and the team if you'd like any more information on the dark web. These are the real experts, so hopefully they'll be able to help you if you're looking into this further. For now, thank you so much, Jacob. It's been a pleasure to have you with us for threat detection and response. And hopefully that you can also stay with us for the next session, which is starting on the hour. So thank you very much indeed. And we look forward to seeing you back here, and the audience as well. Thank you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.